President Trump has signed a slew of controversial executive orders. The Muslim ban comes to mind, another one that he recently did, cutting red tape so energy companies can boost fossil fuel production without worrying about that pesky Clean Water Act, and there are a whole lot of others, too many to mention. He also signed one Wednesday, but this one's not causing a stir. In fact, it's being praised as a potential lifesaver. The president pledged to double the number of vital organ transplants performed, and also he wants to revamp care for the 37 million Americans suffering from kidney disease. That includes trying to increase access to affordable care by encouraging more in-home dialysis instead of sending the patients to pricier clinics. Liver transplant recipient Donna joins us now. She's president and CEO of the Global Liver Institute. Thanks for a few minutes. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So the president's proposal is focused on kidney disease and vital organ transplants. How many people are we talking about? How many Americans are waiting kidney and other organ transplants?
There are over 100,000 people who are waiting for life-saving organ transplants right now. 13,000 of them are waiting for a new liver.
How antiquated are our organ transplants and our donor match systems? And are these proposals the best we can do to improve those systems, or is there more we could do?
This executive order and the initiatives that were announced are really a set of significant, bipartisan, wide-ranging efforts that have the support and are the result of work that patients like myself and physicians have been working for and hoping for frankly decades. So it really is a cutting-edge advancement. And in addition to the three main goals around prevention and increasing the number of people who have access to home dialysis and transplantation and doubling the number of organs available, there's a lot of innovation seeded through the entire bill. So really, this is quite comprehensive and cutting edge.
You know, everybody, when they get their driver's license, there's a question that you fill out whether you want to be an organ donor. Easy enough to check that off. And I think for a lot of people, they assume that that's probably enough to get organs to people who need them. Is that not enough? And does that system work?
So the system for organ procurement and donation is absolutely broken. So signing your organ donor card is certainly not enough. Even having a conversation with your family, unfortunately, is not enough. What happens on the ground is, in so many instances, a lost opportunity. Thousands of lost opportunities, thousands of organs that are discarded or wasted, and there are provisions in this bill that will attempt to modernize that system. First and foremost, making sure that the standards for the organ procurement organizations, those folks who facilitate the donation and transportation from a donor to the transplant team, are not self-reported, that they are verifiable and independent, and that in itself, particularly for those waiting for liver transplant, may have the opportunity to eliminate the entire list. So everyone waiting for a liver transplant could conceivably be able to receive that life-saving gift from just that one change in OPO metrics.
You know, from time to time we hear about wealthy people or celebrities cutting the waiting list for organs because they have that greater access and getting ahead of regular folks. Mickey Mantle comes to mind when he needed a transplant. Do the proposals that the president put forward this week help prevent that? Does it make that easier? You know, does it impact it at all?
You know, it's interesting enough, I was actually on staff at UNOS when the Mickey Mantle transplant case and that was a situation where, the way that the organ allocation system is set up by regions, because organs can't survive outside the body for very long. That was the blood type that became available in that region, and it's a shame that discredited a lot of the system and that part of the system that does work. What often happens is that because there is a difference in donation rates in various areas of the country, for those who have the time and ability to list at different centers, it does result often in different rates of access. And I think that the transparency that will be created through several of the initiatives in the bill, and certainly through the modernization of OPO metrics, can go a long way towards evening the playing field for people.
An interesting aspect of the president's proposal this week is that it reduces the reliance on the aspects of the transplant process or the organ process that make the most money. Kidney disease, that's clinic-based dialysis. That's the expensive part. That's what they're trying to reduce, which seems to run counter to the administration's view of the wider healthcare system, that the free market can do better than a government-led system. Do you see these two messages as being contradictory?
Well, I think taking on a problem that comprises about 25% of the Medicare fee-for-service budget, which kidney and kidney-related diseases do, is a significant and important thing to do. I think it's always important in healthcare to make sure that the incentives align with patient health. And in this case, it didn't. And so this corrects that. And by incentivizing and creating new payment models for prevention and at-home, patient-centered management options that actually have better outcomes, it's an incredible move forward. And I don't think it's inconsistent at all for trying to lower costs in a way that actually improve quality at the same time. I think when you can get that win-win situation, it's a good way to move forward.
The proposal also tweaks how doctors will be reimbursed. The hope is that they'll discourage doctors from relying so much on dialysis. And there are also similar designs about outcome-related choices that physicians make within the Affordable Care Act. So I guess it's the same question. Given the president's view of Obamacare, is it weird to you at all that he seems to be using at least that aspect of an Obamacare model when it comes to kidney and organ disease?
Well, you know, the administration has labeled many of its health care provisions under the label putting patient first. And this actually does that because it is the basis of listening to patients and patient advocacy organizations and really responding to what we've asked for and what we say will works. And so I think I can only speak really to this instance that I've been so closely involved with and know that you know, all the things aligned in terms of patient preference, cost, and quality all moving in the same direction, the direction that we haven't been going in for a really long time. And so by taking on such a large disease and cohort of diseases that cause such a huge burden on both patients and the Medicare budget, you know, we've been able to move something forward. And I think, you know, if we can find more examples of that, we should do them.
Appreciate a few minutes, Donna. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back right after this. Stay with us.